What evidence do you have for us for that?
My question is, how did it jump so high from last year when I paid the taxes to this year?
The taxes or the value of your property?
The value of the property was 56 something.
Okay, yeah, I mean, the properties hadn't been appraised, they were appraised 8 years ago. Okay, and at that time, if you recall, we were probably in a low point in our market, after the recession and everything. And so values were somewhat distressed. So the values that are appraised now are based on the value as of January 1st of 2024. So that, and if you can see from some of the comparables and stuff that they provided, is consistent with what properties are selling for that are similar to yours.
Okay. I guess my next question is, okay, that property has foundation issues.
Okay.
So does that have anything to do with the property value?
They may have taken that into consideration when they did the property. We'll ask them that question if they did when they evaluated the property.
She's seen the reduced amount they got.
Well, I just told her it was 214, 280, and they reduced it to 166, 64, 360. I told her that up front. So, do you have any other evidence to support what you're?
I have pictures of the property damage. I
Okay.
mean, I don't have the pictures, but I have them on my phone if I can
Okay.
use that.
All right. Let's let them see if they took that into account when they did your evaluation.
Okay.
And let's just ask them and see what they've got to say there.
Let us actually adjust the condition of this home from average to fair, which is why you're seeing that reduction in value. We've also accounted for about 12 acres of land, 12.681 acres to be exact, which is a lot of where some of that value is coming from as well. We did provide some comparables for the land free to be exact. They range from 7,299 acres to 10,998 acres. This led us to a value of 166,360, which we would like you the board to uphold.
Okay. All right. So they did take the pictures that you sent them in consideration, and that's why the reduction in the value of your property.
Can I say one more thing? First of all, I don't remember sending pictures.
Sorry, that was just the remarks you had given us. That was just as you had told us the foundation. We did not receive pictures that is. However, you did tell us there was some foundation issue, and we could see that in the photo. So we had reduced this from average fair condition.
Okay, so the inside of the house, y'all reduced that foundation issue from the inside of the house too?
Ms. Peebles, can
Yes,
you
sir.
speak so we can hear you too?
Okay, so inside of the house, did you all reduce that foundation issue also? Was that included in there?
What I understand is that you had given us an email in regards to the foundation. There was an issue with your foundation. Okay. So we have reduced that condition grade.
I mean, but how do y'all come up with $167,000? Because I don't see that valued at that much.
We did actually have comparables very close in proximity, around 9.25 miles to about 10.5 miles. Mr. Bermiak and agents here had actually provided you that in an email, where we provided you 3 different comparables to show that the value of your home was actually well supported. So we had 3 comparables that range from $82.47 to $103.41 per square foot.
So can I show you the pictures of the foundation issued inside the house? Can I step forward?
We ain't got nothing to do with the inside of the house.
What you take care of?
Now's not the time to come and do all.
Her land is worth 132. House ain't for 34. And they reduced it from 214 to 166. How good is that?
Let her finish. Ma'am, you're here presenting to us today, so we need to understand, we need to hear what you're saying.
Okay, I was just showing him pictures of the rooms that the foundation has shifted in and it has like cracks in the wall.
Okay.
So if you would like to see the pictures, I would bring them up and show them to you also.
Given the photos, right, I mean, this is why we had reduced that condition grade on the home from average. So we, according to the schedule of values, right, we try to be as consistent as possible with other homes. And that is the reason why we lowered that condition grade there.
I still think that's too high. I think $167,000 is too high because if I was trying to sell that place, I would not get that out of that.
Do you have any evidence to support that?
What?
We have to have a factual basis.
I'm looking at the foundation issues.
Ma'am,
Okay, and
Can I ask you, the appraiser guy, when you base it on, you said she has 12 acres of land, right? I think your value, Mr. People, comes in your land, not in your house.
2,000.
That's,
But that was farmland, that was like tobacco.
that's still, that it comes, the value of what you're looking at. When you look at 12 acres of land, even though where you're located, the value, when I look at it and compare it, you have less value in the house.
Mhm.
We agree with you. But the property, you own 12 point some acres of land, that's your value. Land is valued, and I'm making any more. That's where your value is. Not necessarily we're not saying the house is worth $167,000. I think they're taking in the complete package. And that includes your 12 acres of land. Even though the house, I'm familiar with the house, unfortunately, and everything, even though the house is in the condition it's in, your value stands in your land.
okay, so we have to do this based on factual evidence, okay? And so, and we're bound, that's by state law. And so we don't have flexibility to make assumptions. We have to base it strictly on facts. And so what I'm hearing from these individuals here is they've made a concessions on your property based on the foundation damage that you've expressed. And we've done from there. So do you have any other evidence to bring forth to demonstrate the value of your property?
I don't have any other evidence, but can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
When did they do the assessment?
They were done over the past 2 years. I believe they've been working on the assessments. Okay,
Can I help you?
Hmm?
Y'all a little bit.
Yes.
They appraised your house for 214, 280. They deducted 47,960, which left you at 166. If you take the 132,000 that your land is worth, it only leaves you 34,280 for the value of your house. So if you took that 34,280 plus that 132 that your land is worth, and you put it together, you get $166. But they gave you a $47,000 credit.
okay. So what would be this?
Stay with that.
Okay, we have a motion to maintain the value as proposed at 166,360. We have a second? We have a second. Is there any discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor, aye?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Peebles.
Next.
Next on our list is Russell Wayne Newman and Sheila Coggill. Is Mr. Newman here? Okay, so that takes care of properties 2 through 5. Accepted, okay,
What's that, 2 through 12?
2 through 5.
Okay.
All right, next we have Teresa Paget.
Y'all make a copy of, y'all said you need some copies.
Sorry,
You said, whatever supporting evidence you need.
whatever supporting evidence, yes, ma'am, if you bring that to us, that'd be great.
You can give it to
You
her,
just
man.
pass that and they'll pass it down.
Thank you.
We just passed it.
Yes, I have a question before we start on the properties.
Yes, ma'am.
I did some comparable sales just on the recent sales for the last 2 or 3 years. And, Mr. Aiken, said that it has to be MLS listing in order to get, the marketing value. But and private sales don't count. Now, I called the, Vance County Tax Office 3 times and talked to 3 different people and asked them what I needed to do comparable sales with. And they never told me it had to be on MLS. They never said it was exclusively that. They never said that it was exempt from, private sales. Now, which is the way for that?
Please.
Number one is the
Right.
emailing with you. So when it comes to a private sale and what we do in bulk sale, you can provide the information you're prepared to provide, but in my review, what I have to consider is that it has to have market exposure through the MLS. And I don't know that it brought the full market price.
Uh-huh.
For all I know, when there's a private sale, when no one knew about it outside the mall,
Right.
hadn't been exposed to the full market by putting it on the MLS, you might have gotten a better offer. So I don't know necessarily that that sale is not market value, but I don't know that it is market value. And so when I'm making an assessment, I don't want to use that
Mhm.
to establish value since I can't be sure it might have been more than that.
Right. I understand that, and I can agree with you on that. But is that documented anywhere that they don't use private sales, or is it just kind of case by case basis, or just your thoughts on it?
It's quality of evidence. So if there is absolutely no evidence except for some private sales,
Mhm.
I think that's all you have. But if you've got private sales laid alongside sales that are known market transactions,
Right.
we go to the known market transactions.
I can agree with you on that. Okay, back to, I did send him back an email this morning and I agreed with, 180 Willow Oak Drive. That's my primary residence. I accepted that value of 139,
All right,
138,207.
let me flip back.
Say it again, ma'am.
This is on the front page, the front email, with the
Okay.
email starting at October 28th, 9:09 a.m.
So you accept 180 Willow
I
Oak?
accept the 180.
Okay,
I accept the 1016 Lehman Street for 76,075. I accepted that. And then I have property on Vicksboro Road. I did not accept that value on that because, you can read on there, I've stated on there why I did not accept that value.
okay, so we're looking at 624.
Vicksboro Road and the tax, yes,
Sorry. The email that was.
I furnished it to them. Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
printed it out and couldn't distribute it to them. Kind of be thorough.
All right, so 624 Vicksboro Road. All right, so. And the reason that you're questioning that, we got you at 1,150 square feet,
Right,
and that's smaller than the one at 180.
180, yes, sir, and the lot is smaller than 180.
Well, 4.6 acres, okay. All right, and so did you have any comparables that you provided for that one,
I did.
624?
He had, I got the email that, he sent me with all the comps on it.
He had asked if you provided funds to us.
I did.
I mean, I saw some where you had, but I don't see any for this,
Yeah, I see him, I provided some, but he said, let me see here. And he selected, I provided some, and ones I provided, some of them he said were private.
okay,
He provided some here,
All right, so I see comparables that you provided for 1016 Lehman, which you agreed to.
Uh-huh.
And then I see that was also on 1016 Lehman. And then I've got the comps that they provided on 624 Vicksburg Road,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have any that you've submitted.
Well, I didn't bring the ones that I submitted because ones I submitted, he chose the ones that was acceptable in his opinion.
Or she is correct, I'm looking at her.
I mean,
It's not on my material, I apologize.
Okay, so she presented properties that were not open market transactions, or what's the situation?
Some of them were open, some of them were private.
Okay,
So when you, Mr. Atkinson, when you said you reviewed the comparable sales, comparable sales and selected the most relevant ones, that weren't ones that I submitted to you?
Now, those are viewing comps that I searched out. I apologize, I have not, seen the comp sheet, but it is attached, so.
It's
it is-
attached to every
it is
property that I
attached,
sent
yes.
in.
okay, so you're not prepared to offer a value on 624 today?
That. Got. Coming up at the next meeting.
That'll be all right.
Talk about that.
Mhm, okay, okay, we'll, move on to the next one.
They're gonna
Um,
get with Portia and him, and they can work it out.
I mean, she can speak with them in the meantime and then put it on consent agenda if she agrees to it.
What is that now?
If you want to have a conversation with them before the next meeting and you agree to it, then you can tell them you agree to it, just like you have on the other two properties.
Mhm.
If they review it.
Okay, he can take a look at it and then just send me an email. 'Cause I
Okay,
check my
all right.
email 4 or 5 times a day.
Okay, so
Okay,
that one's still open.
that one will be left open.
624, you said square, what is it, 1.5, 3 bedrooms and 1.5 bath?
No, it don't have but one bath.
One bath.
It's 1140 square footage,
It's what now?
1,140 square footage, a
Okay.
finished area.
But it's 3 bedrooms,
Yeah, it's 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms.
It's
one
not
bath.
listed as 3 bedrooms though,
Uh,
but it is 3 bedrooms. When you look at the tax card, it does not show 3 bedrooms,
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, okay.
but yes, sir, it is 3 bedrooms.
All right, so that property we're not gonna deal with. The only one we've got left open is Lehman and William Street, which I'm assuming that's a lot.
Yeah, the parcel lot number 4, that lot really ain't even worth $3,500 because that lot floods, and I got a witness right here. He owned the house right across the road, how it floods. And if you read it, it's self-explanatory there.
What are the dimensions of the lot?
I stopped down there in the tax office to try to get the dimensions, but nobody down there knowed how to, get the dimensions off of it. You can see on page 5, you can see that, if my memory serves me correctly, when we measured the house, it's a picture of it. Here, this was 50 foot wide, 186 foot long. And you can see that the lot that I'm in question about is about 65% the size of the lot beside it.
For GIS, you know, it's not 100% clear in the aggregate. It's depicted at 59 feet.
It's not
in width
59 feet.
And 101 feet. Along William Street.
No, it's more than 101 feet. What is the house beside it? Show
I'm
them.
sorry, I don't know the lines here, it's 191.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
91 on Williams.
59 on Lehman. What are the setbacks on Lehman Street?
What? Check.
Side setbacks.
Check 0028-03011 and see what the width of that land is.
Is that again?
0028 space 03011,
The adjoining
one
lot.
adjacent to it.
It's adjoining lot.
And a width of 90 feet.
See, that
There
ain't
is-
correct.
There is the house next to it actually has a similar width, which is, 1015 Lehman Street,
Right.
which has 50 foot.
That's what I was told, because I lived there for 17 years. And I was told it was a 50-foot lot.
We have 59 on GIS.
Okay,
You're talking about the corner lot, the one I'm in question about. But that lot is not 90, the one but adjacent to it is not 93 foot wide. I was told it was 50 foot wide.
Oh, now, the adjacent to the 93 is 50, one to the north is 50, one to the south. The subject property is 59. But it looks like there's a lot of 50-foot lots that comes on it all around.
It is, a whole lot of them.
I mean, that's typical of a city lot. And that,
It
you know,
is.
in that time that those lots were made. And so that's a lot that would, it's an existing lot, so generally it would be conforming to a residential property.
But I disagree that that lot is 59 feet, but I will be over there taking measurements. I know where the pin lines is for not that one, but for the one adjacent to it. I know where the markings are at. And so we'll leave that one open too then.
That corner lot is about 1 foot above grade. There's a city maintenance piece that runs down the entire length of it, which is 91 feet. Yes, I heard that.
191 feet.
And it's not being maintained by the city, so when it rains hard, that place flood. Put a car out there, you can sink that. I own the house across from 1018 Cleveland Street. Every time it rained hard, that's the way it works.
I've had it rain before when I lived at 1019 Lemon Street, the house adjacent to it, to back up under the house.
Okay.
You know, I don't even think it's worth the 3502. I think what y'all got on it last year. Being that I've investigated it side some now.
I mean, what they have offered for that is comparables.
4725, ain't it? Oh, no, you said comparable.
Yeah, you provided us two comparables.
Yeah, I provided comparables with that when I,
Yeah, you've got
did appeal
Arch
notice.
Street property that's 4706. And then you have a Hillside Avenue property that's 39. All right, and this says the Hillside property is topography and floodplain.
It does have a floodplain running through it. Compared with your property as well as, if I can, more,
What property has a,
743 Hillside, which is, plus number 0092 01022. It's the, color comp number 2.
okay,
For I would note that the two comparables the felon submitted, are at the same, almost identical price per acre as subject property.
Is that the two comparables? Well, if it's not fit to build a house on and not fit to even put a building on, a park car on, anything, it's kind of worthless.
so on the Hillside lot, the floodplain is in the rear of the lot, but part of the lot is buildable.
You say the lot, part of the lot is buildable?
On Hillside,
Oh,
in your comp.
Yeah, okay. But now that land, the one I'm in question about, it's a hill behind it where it comes down, washes down from Nicholas Street, and then it's got a drain what comes from Alexander Avenue that washes down to that same ditch. And it comes from up on Maple Street that washes down to that same drain where it all feeds out one drain. And when it rains real hard, it just backs up terrible right now.
Have you asked the city to take a look at it?
I have asked the city numerous times. I tried to get the city out there, I want to get it. And,
And that is in the city, correct?
it is in the city. And my daddy worked with the city. And he said, the reason that it does not drain down the main drain good, that's right down Lehman Street between the lot and 1019 Lehman Street. That was a water main there that come and met. And when they cleaned that ditch out and re-ditched it, they had the water main, the pipe went and they had to take the pipe and set it up and over for it to drain out. So it always has a backfill there. So it don't drain properly. And I guess that's just cause, I mean, I went over this with them before. It just not worth it to make the change to the big water line now.
Have you guys made any concession on that for being a wet property?
It has not been adjusted. It's at its original value.
Could you evaluate that and come back to us? Okay, is the board okay with that?
What's that?
They're gonna look at the wet
Okay,
part of that property and see if there needs to be some adjustment made to that.
okay.
So she's got two that will remain open. And again, if you get that resolved prior, you can resolve with them. You don't have to come back here for the.
Okay. And you say, open, you mean
We're gonna leave just like.
they're
you
gonna
did.
readjust the value on it?
They're gonna look at it and then they're gonna come back to
Okay.
you and tell you what they think their value
Okay.
would be. And if you agree with it, then you can accept it. You don't have to come back on
Okay.
these.
Thank you
If
so
you don't,
much.
then you can come back.
Thank you so much.
It's gonna be in fairly short order,
Thank you.
okay? So number 6 and number 8 would remain open. Number 7 and number 9, she agreed to the value.
So they're gonna get with Portia and hopefully they can work it out.
Right, on those two. All right. Next, we have Tar Heel Regional Community Development Corporation.
Thank you. Good. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Do y'all save
the papers
in case I need to come back?
We'll pass that down.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't mind.
You can keep them. As long as, Kelly, you've got a copy,
You're
right?
Morgan.
As long as Kelly has a copy, we're good. Kelly will know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here you go, Will.
You having fun yet?
Oh, no, just put that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
There's a couple things. Well, I'm Gary Morgan, Tar Heel Regional. Actually, it's a nonprofit. We deal in low income housing. So one thing I noticed about this is obviously all the increases are going to get passed on to my tenants, which means people who used to get who right now $270 a month is going to have to go up. I think the highest one I actually have is 350. And theirs will have to go up too. But I did some looking and I had some questions. And maybe you can answer them, maybe you can't. But the first question is probably just a general information question. I thought, for Vance County, you've done all these evaluations. What is the average property percentage increase for all this?
74%.
74%. Have you broken that down by homeowner and rental properties? I think that's pertinent. Don't you think that's pertinent?
We used comps that are some were rental and some were otherwise.
Well, it would seem reasonable as a public information point that the percentage increase for homeowners and percentage increase for rental properties would be looked at, because what I perceive or potentially perceive is that the increases, in other words, the revenue increase, is being passed along to the tenants. And I think what I see shows that they're already strapped. And the need for revenue, obviously I understand the need for revenue. I was with the Vance County Schools for 8 years, the college vice president of finance and operations. And one thing I learned, if I didn't learn anything, is he who is in charge of the formula can dictate the outcome. That makes good sense. If you give me the formula, I can make it say whatever I want it to say, whatever you want it to say. You give me your revenue picture, I'll give you the formula that'll get you there. That's why I think those two percentages are pertinent. Now, moving on to item number 2, I would like to have that if y'all would provide that. To 2, this is what has been proposed. I have 4 properties. I'm gonna let 721 Sutherland go. I gave that house away, to a poor family. So I'm just gonna let that one go. So you can scratch that one. I'll take the consent or whatever.
We'll take the consent on
721
721 Sutherland. Okay.
Poor family. Now they may struggle with paying the property tax on it, but when I look at the others, I see 2 things. Number one, the 2023 value that was listed was too low. And that's your point. I can see that. On 704 Arch Street was 5911. I mean, that's just too low. I wouldn't have sold it for 5911. The valuation that they've adjusted down to is 37,540. Well, that's an increase of 31. That's 535%. 706 is similar. It's 523%. 619 Marshall is 610%. And you're telling me that the average countywide is 74%. So I look at that and from a reasonableness point of view, how that actually looks to the public. So also it appears to me that the comps used for those first 3 properties was somewhat cherry picked. If you'll look at the last page, handwritten page, where I went, like I said, if you're in charge of the formula, I can make it say anything you want. If I pick the comps, I can make it say anything I want. Okay, if I look at these 4 appraisal properties, really just the 3, I go by 704 Arch Street, 706 Arch Street, I go by the comps that he had listed, okay? And I noticed that they all had new or almost new roofs. Every one of my roofs need replacing. I mean, need replacing. I'd only charge $300 rent, so it don't come easy. All of them had new or very new window replacements. I couldn't tell whether they're brand new or just extremely new. All 3 of them had very good to new exterior siding. All my siding needs replacing. If you're charging $200, my goal is to give them a house that don't leak with electricity, refrigerator, stove, air conditioner, heat, and all that, and keep it up. But if I want to get these kind of prices, I've got to put a new roof on it. I've got to put new windows on it. And I've got to put new exterior on it. And then 2 of the 3 comps, 2 are central heat and air. All mine are PTACs, went through the wall stuff. Electric through the wall stuff. There's nothing comparable about that. And so, I mean, that's just fact. And anyone can go by and see it. Go by my houses, go by those comp houses. Then the other thing, and I disagree with the gentleman on not being able to use private sale, because that's basically saying a person who does a private sale don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't think that's true. Some people do a private sale so they don't have to pay the 6 to 10% real estate tax, probably fee. I mean, if you can sell your house, are you going to sell it for $100,000 and you're going to list it MLS and then pay $6,000, $10,000 in fees? Or you got a buyer that'll pay you the whole 100 and you get it all? Does that sound like they don't know what they're doing? It doesn't to me. So the logic he used, I understood what he said, but I don't think there's a written precedent for it. I think that's an opinion. And I think that's all it is. And I think unless he can document it, then that's all it is an opinion. I present 12 houses here that's been sold. I put the date sold, I put the square footage. They were sold in package deals, so I did. So what I did was take the square footage divided by the total sales price to come up with the value per house. 621, 631, 646, 647, 648. 650 and 651 Marshall Street. Those sold for 159,284. The actual check was, the actual thing was 161, but there was a lot in there worth $1,700 that took off that wouldn't apply to the house. Okay. Also on 12/8, there were three other houses sold, 539 Horner, 553 Horner, 1232 South William Street. I use the same thing. Sales price $67,000. Take the total square foot, gives you the value per house. Now, there's nothing illogical about that. Lastly, this past November, two houses, 450 East Winder and 805 Flint Street were sold for $55,000, and I did the same thing. And this is what the average per square foot cost was, $43, $30, $46, and so forth. Now, I understand what they said, that you don't do that. But that's just an opinion. You're not giving business people credit for what they're doing. Then when you go and use a comp, you use a comp that's got a brand new roof on it and brand new replacement windows and brand new siding and central heat and air, and you're comparing it to a 70-year-old house that needs a roof replacement, windows replaced, siding replaced, and all they have is PTAC units. You know, I really don't know if I expect anything out of this meeting, but something's wrong with that. To not be able to use private sales is something wrong. How much a percentage of this county is rental income? It's big. It's big. And most of those transactions are private sales, and you know it. I believe you have some, and maybe not just you, but other people here. And when you sell them mostly private sale. Isn't that the way it's done? I've been around here a long time. I moved here in January 1982. And, you know, I'm not just pulling your leg. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm telling you, you give me the formula and I'll give you the answer you asked for. And I think that's what you've done. And I think I just proved it.
Did you
That's-
provide these comparables to?
Well, that's his comparables. That's his comparables. I used his comparables and
The information you just provided us, has that been provided to the assessment?
What?
Requested that you share the information with us as we share our information with you.
Well, you sent me a text, but my father died and I was in Greensboro.
I apologize.
So I couldn't really help that. In fact, before that, I was in Africa, so I had to leave there to come home to my father's funeral. And, but yeah, he did. He sent me an email and said, can you give me what you have? But the letter from you didn't say I needed to do that. And I personally think that, you know, I should bring my information and present it without, you know, pre-planning, you know, without someone having an opportunity to do whatever, because now you got the time to do whatever you want to do. But I didn't tell you a lie here. I stated my opinion. I see what's going on. And
Go ahead.
So, reason that we ask for information in advance is so that we can be prepared when it comes forward. I haven't had a chance to get this.
that's right.
So any
I understand.
comment I have is totally off the cuff.
Okay.
What I will say is that the evidence that it presents is not full, in my opinion. It begins with an argument about the percentage of increase. I can consider that. It uses a package deal, if you'll notice, that the first page, 621 Marshall, 631, 646, they all sold the same day.
Yeah, it was a package deal.
To the next page, we continue to sell on the same day. Typically, when you see package deals, you may or may not be getting the same result as if they were individually marketed.
But that's inadmissible.
And
That's true. though.
May or may not is inadmissible.
then additionally, I'm not finding that these are listed, and it's the appellant's opinion, I believe, that if it's not listed on MLS, that's not any impediment to the validity of the sale. I want to be clear in what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the lack of being on MLS is an automatic default to the sale. What I'm saying is you can always speculate that it's higher. Market. Now, I'm sure that there are some very savvy that know exactly what the property is worth, and their off-market sale is for every penny. There are other individuals that that's not true. That if they had just taken the time to put it out there to see what the offers they would receive when they come in, they could have gotten a much larger value. And so anytime
Maybe.
you see that, you don't have the MLS exposure, you don't know. Maybe it's a market value, maybe it's not. If I have other comparables that are on MLS, we know the market has had a chance to examine those, and they've had a chance to bring bids in and have the best offer. I would not, as an appraiser, choose to base my value on the one and have the other. And so that is my professional opinion, that the evidence of a MLS-based sale is superior to evidence of the private sale, where it may or may not represent the market. But again, it's not presented any substantiation of his own value. To my mind, my opinion, I don't think the package deal, or the off-market package deal is really the way to go in value property. He's talked about the condition of the property, and I understand what he's saying, but the condition is not always particularly good. I'm looking at some of the comps that I've selected. I didn't pick the highest comps I can find. Trust me, I could run the number a lot higher. I could run the number lower.
He's making my point.
Market. Can I approach the board?
But you made adjustments on all three of these properties. What were those adjustments based on? 704 and 706 Arch Street, and also 619 Marshall.
What,
I'm looking at the sheet that you provided us. It says value under appeal, 44,351, reduced to 37,540.
while he's looking for that, I just want to comment on his comment. He said, while a package deal could represent market value, he didn't think so. He said, so in every case, he threw out package deals. Now, but yet he said it could be right. I mean, which way does this go?
So in all cases, in the second for review, they were adjusted by what we call economic obsolescence. And it's our standard adjustment for comparing the comps. So when we're looking at the comparables and wanting to bring it into line with the sales that we're seeing, that's our standard adjustment. And so the difference is that when I observed what was actually selling, that the value was a bit higher than those comps, and I brought it down to the comps that I presented. That's the reason it's come down. I'm trying to listen to the market. I'm trying to see what the market is saying. And these are sales that I think are legitimate sales of base value.
I think the others are too.
And it doesn't matter.
That's right. That's right.
Actually, off market as the off market are on equal footing, and that's a full discussion, in my opinion.
Any more questions from anybody on the board?
No.
Well, I just wanted to have him say. I didn't expect a whole lot, honestly, but I wanted you to hear the other side of the story. That I'm not a dummy. I didn't give my houses away. And people that are in the business don't just give them away. But we do sell package things. You might sell 3, 4, 5, 10. You might buy 10, 20. It works both ways. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
What would be the recommendation of the board?
Stay the same.
And we have a motion for it to stay the same. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. That's on those three properties, so basically all four of those would stay the same.
Mr. Chairman, was the motion for the 3 or for the 4?
The three, he consented to the fourth one.
Well, then just make sure that we add these and the other ones that were consented today to the consent motion, the consent agenda, to be included in the motion.
Okay, what I have is we upheld the value on Ms. Peebles' property, which was number one. Numbers 2 through 5 were accepted by the appellant. Number 6 and number 8 are still held open. Number 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 were all at the consent of the appellant. Is that what you guys have?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so all of those, we've done,
Make sure that the accepted ones are included on the consent agenda when you guys make your motion to vote on that.
so numbers, which we've already made a motion to accept those.
We made a motion to accept number 1. When did we make a motion to accept 2 through 5, 7, 9, and 13?
Thought we just did.
Did we make a motion?
No, you said that we accepted it, but you haven't made a motion.
Okay, all right. So what we need now is we need a motion
I make a
To
motion that we
accept.
accept it.
2 through 5, 7, 9, and 13. No, 6 and 8 were continued.
Make a motion that we can, that we accept what was done today.
Okay, so the motion is to accept 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 13.
Oh. Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. So from today, the ones that are left open are number 6 and number 8 for Ms. Paget. Okay, now we have a consent agenda. And these were all, they're on the back of your packet. And there are
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
281 of these. And all of these have consented, is that correct? So what will be the pleasure of the board on the consent agenda?
I put in a motion to accept it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed?
Done.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before the Board of Equalization review today?
No, sir.
Okay,
How many more of these we got?
take a motion. Yes.
We through? Huh? Okay.
Okay, so answer the question.
Around about how
How
many?
many are left?
Just a guess.
Okay, so we've got roughly 300 left. Okay, what is the last date they have to agree? And that's all, that's everything then. Okay. We're canceling meetings in November. And I don't want to come up here in December and we're getting ready to go see Santa Claus and we gotta have a meeting.
So is there a meeting tomorrow?
No,
In between, when people send it back in, we have to wait until we hear from them to know if they disagree or agree. Then we can put them on the agenda, but then these guys have to work up their fields. So the turnaround time is not enough.
And suppose we get to December 31st.
No, it's a lot of dates in early December that we have on the calendar already.
yeah, but
Don't hit December 31st.
no, we've got, I think it was
Yeah.
December
It's like 5 days. in
9th, 16th,
It's
something
30
like that.
days in early December. Yeah, we should be okay.
Okay. So, that being the case, we're going to adjourn for today.
So do you